everybody, my name is Rosa and I am a warehouse associate here at Game Nerdz, where I spend my days packing your orders. But every once in a while, I get to do this. Today I will be painting Ahsoka Tano, my favorite character from Star Wars, Shatterpoint. I like to paint with Citadel paint and a little bit of Vallejo, but definitely Citadel. And then I also have some Army Painter speed paint today. I've only used that a little bit though, so we'll see. I like to prime almost everything with either Mechanicus Standard Gray or a Baden Black from Citadel. So I like to mix it with a medium, just makes it flow better, makes it a little smoother finish. It's typically recommended to prime it, however, you don't have to use black or gray or whatever. I know people will sometimes prime with color, just basic color theory. You can make certain colors pop better with a different base. So you lay down red, it'll make your yellows brighter or whatever. But some sort of primer is always a good idea. But I'm sure there's someone out there who just says the heck with it. So I know it's kind of hard to tell, but there's some blue speed paint put on based on where I put the highlights and lowlights. Put the blue on top of that, and I can already kind of tell like the darkest spots don't really show up as blue, the lightest spots really do, and it's kind of uneven. So now I know going forward where I want to put another layer of, say, like white or gray to make sure the color shows up a little bit more evenly on the next layer. So I'm going to go back over. So now we're moving on to color on Ahsoka's armor, and she's sporting this fancy blue, and thankfully it's all pretty uniform and it's basically neck down, so you don't have to get overly complicated with it. Just make sure everything's blue. And the highlights and lowlights from the Zenithal priming should kind of naturally lend themselves to shadows and highlights in the blue without me having to go back over and be like manually working in the shadows and highlights. But I'll patch it up later, but this allows me to kind of go fast. So speed paints are really good for this because they also take some of the load off of getting the shadows and lowlights done quick. Also just kind of troubleshooting at the minute. Yeah, unfortunately, like this is the part where it's like, if you decide on a color and you're not like totally happy with it, you have to let it dry until you can move to the next part. So this isn't a bad blue to start.
Is Ahsoka your favorite character?
She absolutely is. She is the best girl. Oh, I was not expecting that either. Like, my friend got me into it, and time went by. Dave Filoni wrote a really good story. The animation is top tier.
So is that a common thing of painting on your hands?
Yeah, actually, that is extremely common.
Okay.
You'll definitely see that a lot amongst painters. It's the fastest, closest thing. As you're in the process of picking up paint, it's easy to pick up too much, and you just don't want to flood the mini with too much paint if you can help it. Plus,
so to wipe off excess paint.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And you can also tell how the paint falls on your skin if it's at a good transparency level. If you've thinned it out enough or to where you want it, it's a gauge for like, okay, is that about the thickness or thinness that I need this paint to be? And it's funny because it's like, that's how you know someone's been painting minis, is they have all the thumb paint.
But I learned so much, and I'm just glad I got to, at the very least, paint on my thumb.
I like to use a fine detail brush. This is a 3.0 brush, but it's one of the prismatic paintbrush collections that we sell here. Actually, mine has a little fuzz on the end of it. You do not want fuzz on the end of your brush. Be gentle with your brushes. They'll last a lot longer. I'm not gentle. Anything in like the O series, like 0 series of brush sizes, you'll start getting tiny and tinier brushes for itty bitty detail. The lightsaber handles, they're just so tiny. So tiny. I just want to make sure it looks like she's actually holding them. Isn't it crazy like how fast stuff comes together? I put some detail on her armor and her little lekku. I've prepped the lightsabers for color. She has blue sabers at this point still, so that'll be blue. Well, I'm gonna finesse her face tattoos. I started out with just like kind of blobs, and and then I'll go from there. I managed to get some eyeballs on there, and that was a solid, 10-second breath hold. So, okay. One of my favorite things to paint is the glow effect, which in painting, or really, I guess any art form, is called OSL, which stands for Object Source Lighting. And it's basically the transfer of light onto an object, something that generates light and the effect it has on the corresponding area around it. I want to be able to kind of recreate the effect that the blue glow has on like her shoes and her, her clothes, her outline. It's 3:15 and I'm drinking coffee. So it's the middle of the pandemic, and I got furloughed at the start of the pandemic, and I was doing other art, but we were just starting to get into D&D at a time when no one was allowed to hang out with each other. It's like we had started with Star Wars actually, and then went to D&D, and it was like, okay, so now we need minis for our D&D campaign, and I don't know, man, minis are really pretty. It just kind of like light bulb moment. I was just like, oh, that actually looks like it would be a lot of fun. Painting is not, painting's not my medium. Like I don't come naturally to it, but I didn't put any pressure on myself when I first started, because what's the point in that, right? Like no point in pressuring yourself. So I started with these like real rugged minis that you get in like starter packs and stuff that have really bad primer all over. But I didn't know any better, so for whatever reason, like, it was the most calming activity in the world. It was, everyone was stressed out and stuff because COVID, and it was just like, I need something that's not gonna give me an aneurysm, and apparently that's mini painting, so. I only have one rule when it comes to painting, and that's to have fun. It's important. And as soon as you're not having fun, it's a sign to take a break.
Okay, so yeah, just show it up to him.
Look to that
Show it
camera.
to that camera,
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Just be like, okay, and that's how it's all done or whatever. You gotta,
Yeah.
whatever.
All done. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I will post a list of the paints I used in the description below. You can find all that and more at GameNerds.com.